Now, since the Torah told us that by the 14th in the afternoon, the chametz, leavening, is forbidden. So therefore, we make special effort to make sure that our house is chametz free. And therefore, we start with the Pesach cleaning. Again, you've had that in other classes. And there's a difference between spring cleaning and Pesach cleaning. One should know that there's a difference between the two. The spring cleaning is something that's voluntary on your part if you want to be more thorough with your spring cleaning. Have the chandeliers making sparkling or something of that sort. That's not Pesach cleaning. However, the house does look, more the holiday spirit when it does have the thorough job. But as far as Pesach cleaning is concerned, you look for the chametz, places where you think chametz might be, and you do the thorough cleaning there. A vacuum cleaner is very useful for this, picking up all the chametz. And so therefore, it does not have to be stressful. I don't know if you've experienced Pesach cleaning before or were with someone who was Pesach cleaning and see their attitude. So again, it should not be something that stresses out a person, but rather something that you are doing the mitzvah. And as the Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch, that the women are very, very scrupulous about it. They went above and beyond what is required by halacha to make sure that the house is chametz free. So
I was cleaning walls for the first time.
Okay, so I'm saying, so this is, so again, so if you do have, if there are small children in the house that are eating oatmeal and they're putting their hands on the wall, then there is actually, oatmeal on the walls. With adults, I'm not assuming that there is any chametz on the walls of your living room or dining room or bedroom, but in the kitchen, where the tiles are, I would think that there is splattering of chametz that might be an actuality. So where were you cleaning the walls of? Which room?
In the nefesh room, like the main hall.
The whole, okay.
But no kids there.
Okay. So therefore the Chachamim, our sages, they instituted that there should be b'dikas chametz, the searching of the chametz, the night before the 14th. Night of the 14th of Nisan. So it begins at nightfall here in New York. It's 7:53 is when nightfall begins. That is when the time that you search for chametz. And the tools for searching for chametz. This is a biggest chametz set. So we have the candle. So the candle is a single light. We use a beeswax candle, and its purpose is to be able to go close to places that you're able to see if there's chametz there. If you're going to go with a torch, you'll be afraid to go to anywhere near a place that might catch fire. In practicality, so the reason behind this is that there's a spiritual significance of looking with a candle. We again know that the searching of the chametz is also the spiritual chametz as well, which is the Yetzer Hara, the ego, the chametz, and therefore it says, Neir Hashem nishmas Adam, God's candle is man's soul. Chayfes kalkad bottom with it, he searches all innermost. And also it says, I will search Yerushalayim with candles. So we see when it comes to the candle, this represents the godliness, man's soul, and therefore we're doing soul searching. As we're doing the searching for the chametz, the physical chametz, we're also going to do the looking for our inner chametz. It is customary to go to page now 24, number 5. Before the search begins, instead of doing the Pesach cleaning of the night, which will take you forever, we clean all the rooms that are going to be used for Pesach. Now, what about if someone is selling their chametz? So it could be done in different ways. some people are not at home for Pesach at all. And therefore, they technically could sell the premises for Pesach and not make it necessary to search for chametz because they're not going to have any chametz because all of it is included in the sale. Then there are those who will be living on their premises during Pesach, but there are certain rooms that they will not be using, or they will not be using the basement. So those places you do not have to search because that is not going to be your premises legally over Pesach. It's going to be rented out to the non-Jewish person who is purchasing the chametz. Or the same thing is also going to be with cupboards or closets. So those places where you will be storing the chametz or you will not be using for Pesach, those places should be designated that they are included in the sale. And you could, it would be best to make an indication that this is off premises for Pesach. You should not forget. So if it's a cupboard that you use all year round, you should do something that will remind you that it is included in the sale of chametz. So either you put on a sign, either you tie it with a string. If it's a cupboard, do something that will indicate, that will remind you that this is off limits for Pesach. So also in the, I have here the sale agreement. So this is the rabbi's pen. When you're going to be writing the agreement for the sale of chametz, you will do is you will lift up this pen that you are authorizing the rabbi of this pen, which is Rabbi Azdava. So you're authorizing him to sell your chametz. Then you'll put down the name, the address where the chametz is being that is included in the sale. You can put down multiple addresses if it's in multiple places. Then you would write wherever it is indicated that chametz is there, or whatever the chametz is being stored. So wherever it's indicated, that will be where the places that are being sold, and then you sign your name. So this is will be made available at the end of class. So you pick up the pen, and then you're authorizing the rabbi to sell your chametz. Then you name, address, and wherever chametz is indicated, and then sign your name. So those places, yes.
If you're not going to be like in your house, like for Pesach, like at all, do you still have to sell your chametz?
Oh, you're not allowed to own any chametz. It's not only that you're not allowed to own it in any premises, whatever it may be. If you have it in your safe deposit box in the bank, it's also included in your possessions. Then it has to also be sold and put on the address where it is, box C2. So that's not only seeing the chametz, but it's actually owning the chametz. Right. Becomes a whole question with your own stocks in a chametz factory. What happens? You're a partial owner. What happens there? I mean, these are questions on all of these details. So those places that are being included in the sale do not have to be searched. Some people want to have the mitzvah of searching of the chametz, so they will leave one area that they will search for the chametz in that place. That will be their participation in the mitzvah. Sometimes they will be staying with others. They will ask the others if they can help with the searching of the chametz, and they can also participate in this mitzvah. Just as it is the physical, it's also the spiritual. It goes as well. So it's customary to put down 10 pieces of chametz in the places that you're selling, that you're searching. You put down 10 pieces of chametz. What is the significance of putting down pieces of chametz? So we have here on number 7 on page 24, before the search, we take 10 pieces of hard chametz, place them in different places in the house. Each piece should be wrapped in paper to ensure that it will not crumble, and you will not have chametz by putting down the 10 pieces. So firstly, practically speaking, it should be wrapped in paper, not in silver foil, because the silver foil, these 10 pieces will later be burnt on the next day. So don't wrap it in silver foil, because in silver foil, it will not really burn very well. In paper, it will burn. So what I do is I wrap it in paper and also put a piece of tape around it so the paper doesn't unravel and having the chametz in the place that I'm trying to clean and bringing chametz there to begin with. So the number 10 has a special significance. It is corresponds to 10 levels of impurity. So as we're searching the chametz, we're removing, there are 10 levels of impurity, which corresponds to the 10 spheres as they are in Kedusha and holiness, and there's also the opposite in the realms of unholiness. And therefore, the 10 pieces are placed there, we're searching for them, we take them away, and as we're taking it away physically, we also spiritually, Hashem helps us, we should be able to find our deficiencies and be able to make those corrections. So there we have the 10, others say it corresponds to the 10 makkos. So they are placed in different places in the house. You have to also, whoever's putting them out should remember where they placed them. They shouldn't have to now search the house 3 times in order to find a lost piece of chametz. So it's not a game that sometimes people want to hide it really well, that the person should not find it. It's not hiding the afikomen, it's hiding the chametz. But in addition to that, we have our candle, which corresponds to the godly soul doing the searching. We also have a feather that's going to help us find the crevices that have to be sort of scratched out. And it's like a little, we have our dustpan. And we put it in the bag. We'll have a bag. Okay.
So it's like a custom tool, like to search for the matzah.
That's a different thing, but that's not the same as chametz. So now the chametz will be collected, and now number 6, before we search, we should put away the chametz that we wish to eat later. You still have supper, you also have breakfast. So the search of chametz is chametz that you are not aware of. Chametz that you know about, you put that in the designated place that you'll know that the rest of your house will be clean for Pesach, and the places where you will be eating chametz, you will then clean up on the next day before the designated time. So you'll still be eating. If you want to eat chametz for supper, you still will do so. You also will do so for breakfast. So put away the chametz. So that's not included in the search. That you know where it is. You put that away. So it's not being searched. There will be a blessing that is said. There's also a nullification of the chametz that you do not find. And then there's also the burning of the chametz the next day. And there's also a nullification of any chametz that belongs to you. You don't want to own any chametz over Pesach. We're going to look at that directly. Now, what happens if we would not put out the 10 pieces of chametz? So a person is doing searching. They think that they did a very thorough job in cleaning. They don't do a half job. They cleaned the room very well. They expect to find chametz there. Do they? If they cleaned well? If you did the cleaning? So then, how well would you search that room? In reality, you say, well, this room is very clean. I really don't have to search it. So we do have the pieces that chametz that are there. You're going to try to find a piece of chametz that is there. And while you're looking for the piece of chametz that was put out, you're also going to be looking to see that you make a last-minute search to make sure that it is perfectly chametz-free. So therefore, this is another reason why it's the custom to put out the pieces of chametz to make a thorough search. Also, we want to make a nullification the next day during the day. How will you remember? If you did not have any chametz to burn, how will you remember that you should be nullifying the chametz? You're so busy the next day. This is something that's something that you're not going to remember. So there's something that was put out to burn, which is the spoon. A wooden spoon is put out to. So those not in every community did they put out the 10 pieces of chametz. So in that case, They cleaned the house thoroughly, they searched the house, they found nothing. So you still did fulfill the mitzvah of searching for the chametz, because the mitzvah is to search, it's not to find, but rather the searching. So you did fulfill the mitzvah. But the next day you have to nullify the chametz. What's going to remind you to nullify the chametz? So therefore you have now something that you're going to put aside, that you're going to be burning the next day. And therefore, this is something that you will remind you to burn the chametz. Usually, there was a wooden spoon in every household, in every kitchen, they had a wooden spoon that they actually would stir the pasta and all the other chametz items. So the spoon would really be a spoon that absorbed chametz. So at least you're having something that is connected to the burning of the chametz with the spoon that absorbed the chametz. Nowadays so we keep the tradition that we have the wooden spoon that's going to be burned. In addition to that, we have the 10 pieces of chametz that's going to be burned. In addition to that, any other chametz that you do find. Sometimes you will find pretzels, little pieces of pretzels that are sometimes overlooked when you did the vacuuming. Sometimes when you'll search to see under the baseboard of the steam. Sometimes you overlooked something that was when it was swept. Sometimes things are swept underneath the places that could get trapped there. When cleaning, what were you told about? Let's say moving the refrigerator, moving the stove. Were you told about cleaning behind them or not? Yes? No? Okay, nowadays you have everything's on wheels. So really moving away, at one time moving a refrigerator, there was nothing that could be caught underneath. You would not have to move your refrigerator. But nowadays everything's on the wheels, everything is raised, everything is swept under. It would be good advice. And again, it's not something that is, you don't need, a whole team to move your refrigerator. This is something that's very easy, that goes on wheels and goes in and out. So it would be advised to also clean behind the refrigerator and places that are easily moved, and also something that is raised. They usually have the little wheels that raise those items. Now, yes, the chametz, you don't have to go with a candle to search the chametz in your car. With a car, if you're using the car during Chol Hamoed, it should be chametz free.
I was asking especially.
You don't have to search with the candle. You just make sure it's clean. Now, as far as the searching is concerned with the candle, if you're going to be looking in your closet, do not go with a candle. You don't want the clothes to catch on fire. So what you do instead, you use a flashlight. Okay, so flashlight should also, you should have that handy. If you're doing the searching of the chametz, you're going to be places where you can't go with a candle. So there should be a flashlight as well. As far as when you're doing the searching, lights open, lights closed. Which one? Open lights, closed lights. So it would determine, what we determined is where you're able to see best. Sometimes when it's dark and the candle is there, you're able to see better. Sometimes with the lights on, it's better for you. So you would have to determine whatever's better for you to make a thorough search. Okay, so
I have a question. If you have a business and you have space, office, you should check and this office, yeah?
yes. Will anyone be there during Pesach time? Will the office be used on the Chol Hamoed? Yes. So then you should, the last day that you're going, before Pesach, you don't have to come back the 14th at night, if it is an inconvenience. Before the last time that you're leaving the office before Pesach, you would search to see that you did a thorough job of your drawers or your personal space that you're responsible for.
But for example, if you're not coming back to that office, you can put in all the things you're going to sell.
Yes,
So you sell all the hammocks.
So if you're not going to be there over Pesach, that's why yes, the Chol Hamoed will not be there. So then also that address would also be included in the sale. So you have your home wherever you are, and also the place of business where you are. Okay.
Can I ask you something? Imagine that you did all the clean, everything, you looked everywhere, no hammocks. But last minute, you were taking a bath and someone that didn't know the rules was eating like alfajor, has hamad, and they spit on the floor. And Pesach starts. What happened? Like all the house becomes
So
no kosher Pesach, or
So it's so that's why we're going to see what we do. How do we take care of that situation? That's what we're going to see right now. Okay, so now let's see what we have. So I do also want to remind you about if you have a vacuum cleaner. So there is a vacuum cleaner if it's with a bag. Or it's bagless, but it collects all the chametz that you've done. What do you do with your vacuum cleaner? So it matters. Do you want to use it during Chol HaMoed, or do you want to use it on Erev Pesach after the designated time where your house has to be chametz free? So in that case, you should remove the vacuum cleaner bag, throw that out, replace it with a fresh one. If it is the bagless, so you'd have to, if you do want to use that vacuum cleaner, then you'd have to clean it very, very thoroughly. You should not have any chametz in it. And if you are not going to be using the vacuum cleaner, you would include it with wherever you're selling your chametz, you would put it in that closet. So that would be included in the sale. But if you are going to be using it, make sure to remember, most people do forget to remove the vacuum cleaner bag and replace it with a new one or clean it. Okay, now, so before the search, this is on page 24. Does everyone have the booklet? Yes.
So nighttime, nightfall, only it's like we see that it's getting dark.
And so it's right now, here it's 7:53 here in New York. To 10 minutes to 8.
So if the person is working in the night, so he should like cancel the work and go.
No, you can do it later time also, but as soon as you come home. As soon as you come home would be the time to do it. If you will not be there at 10 to 8. Now, now, if there are other people who want to participate in this mitzvah, they would all stand, they would be given an assignment, which room they're going to be searching, what's their responsibility. And they would all stand next to the person who is the head of the house, who's going to make the blessing. This is on the bottom of page 24. Blessed you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the removal of chametz. So we're not saying a bracha for searching of chametz, but rather the removal of chametz. The mitzvah is that you're going to burn the chametz the next day. So what happens if you did search and didn't find anything? You didn't put out the 10 pieces, you didn't have anything to put out. Did you fulfill the mitzvah? And the answer is yes. The mitzvah was to search for the chametz, and that's what you did. So now we have on page 25. If you want to participate in the mitzvah, and you're also going to be designated to search a certain room, you should not talk between the bracha and the beginning of the search. And the one who is making the blessing starts searching at the room closest to the place where the blessing was made. So we search for chametz in all rooms, including the attic and basement, and everywhere where chametz may be brought during the year. Also, your car, your garage, and after completing the search, we put the bag, the feather, and the remains of the candle, if any, in a wooden spoon. We wrap them all up in paper, tie the spoon tightly with a string, and the handle of the spoon protruding. So you will remember that this is the bag that has this is at the end, we put everything in here. It's best a paper bag, so we'll be able to burn out. But we're going to do this also where the wooden spoon comes in handy. So we're going to have the wooden spoon protruding, so you'll remember that this is the bag where the chametz is. You don't have to search it. There you go. There it is. Now, after the search is done, this is very important. This will answer your question. Part one is what happens if there was, page 26, if there was chametz and you did not find it. Are you responsible for that chametz? Page 26 on top. So then we make a declaration. All leaven, or anything leavened which is in my possession, which I have neither seen nor removed, but which I am unaware. I do not know about it. I looked and looked and did not find it, shall be considered nothing and ownerless as the dust of the earth. I'm giving up my ownership of that chametz which I did not find. So now it does not belong to you since you made that declaration. Now it's not yours. So in case there is any chametz, you did not transgress because you made a declaration that you don't want to own it. So it should be, you should know it's read in Aramaic because that's what most people spoke at that time, but you should know the translation. If needed, you could say that in English or in Spanish. So the main thing is that it's ownerless, it's like the dust of the earth, and we don't want it to be responsible for it. Now, page 21. People leaving their home before Pesach must search for chametz the night before the departure without saying a bracha. The bracha is only said if it's the night before the 14th, before Erev Pesach. If you search it and people who are leaving their homes and it's not included in the sale because they'll be coming back for Chol HaMoed, so the last day that they're there, that night they should search for chametz the same way with the candle and the feather and the spoon and with the 10 pieces, without saying the bracha. They will have someone burn their chametz for them. Either they take it with them wherever they will be the next on the 14th, or they ask someone to do it for them. So the next day, the eating of the chametz could be done until, with the daylight savings, 10:45 is the last that you could eat chametz on Wednesday morning. 10:45. Usually it was 9:45. Now it's 10:45 because of daylight savings, and then the chametz is burnt an hour later at 11:45. Between the time of when chametz can no longer be eaten until the time of burning, which is that hour, you still can have a benefit from this chametz. It still belongs to you, so you could give it away. If you have animals, you could feed your animals with chametz still during that hour because chametz is still permissible, but you cannot eat it because we have now an hour space from the time that it could be, the last time it could be eaten till the time it has to be burnt. Now, now we go to, so again, on page 29, number 6, all vessels which have been used with chametz, as well as any chametz not eaten before Pesach, should be sold and put aside in a secure place. The vessel should be thoroughly cleaned. If any trace of chametz, if possible, those and other items included with the sale of chametz should be stored in a locked room or a place that is indicated. There's a sign, there's something that you tie together, put a piece of tape, that you should remember not to open that place. The bottom of page 29, Erev Pesach, the day before Pesach, we rise early for prayer on Erev Pesach so we can finish the chametz meal within the time we're allowed to eat chametz, which is 10:45 here in New York. We omit Nizma L'Saida. If you're familiar with the davening after Baruch Shamar during the weekdays, we say Nizma L'Saida, a Thanksgiving prayer. This corresponds to the carbon Toda. Toda means thank you. If something special happened in a person's life, and they want to thank Hashem for the times of the Beis Hamikdash, they brought a special carbon called a carbon Toda, a thankfulness sacrifice. With this thankfulness sacrifice also came loaves of chametz that was given to the Kohanim, and the person also ate of those loaves of chametz. Since the sacrifice had chametz with it, so it was not brought during Pesach nor the day before Pesach. So since this prayer corresponds to the Toda sacrifice, which had chametz with it, and it was not brought on Erev Pesach, so we do not say Nizma L'Saida, not on Erev Pesach, and not on Chol HaMoed, because on Chol HaMoed, the carbon Toda was also not brought. So Nizma L'Saida is omitted from the day before Pesach, which is Wednesday, until after Pesach. So that's it comes after Baruch She'amar, if you're familiar with the davening. After Baruch She'amar is Mizmor LeSodam. During the weekday, it is omitted. Okay. Now we derive chametz till the 5th hour, which is an hour. The 4th hour is 10:45. The 5th hour is 11:45. And page 30. Now, some people will keep nash in their pockets. Sometimes they will have granola bars, which has oats, which is chametz. So also clean your pockets, shake out your pockets to make sure that there are no crumbs inside. Also, your bags that you have, that you keep your school things or your pocketbook. There too, you should make sure. Sometimes people keep candies there or bars there. Make sure that it's chametz free. Number 7, the afternoon after midday, in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, was a holiday. The holiday was such that the Karban Pesach was going to be brought by all of Klal Yisrael, but the entire Jewish community was going to participate in bringing a Karban. The day that a person brought a Karban, a sacrifice, that was a holiday. So after midday on Erev Pesach, which is Wednesday this year, is a holiday. And therefore, we do not do works. For instance, we do not do sewing, we do not do washing. These all should be done before midday. And also included in that is also a Jewish person giving a haircut. So we cannot all the haircuts and also the grooming of the nails, that all should be done before midday on Wednesday, Erev Pesach. So if you need a haircut, we'll not be taking a haircut until Shavuos or Lag Bomer. So those who do need grooming should do so before Pesach, and it should be done before Chatzos, before midday.
Can you cut your nails online?
We don't. All of this should be done unless you cut your nails. If you cut your nails out of Pesach and you need to cut them again, then you could do them.
Okay.
But normally, if you cut them before Pesach, they would not need another cutting during Chol Hamoed. So Chol Hamoed, we do not cut our nails.
What do I have for people to do on Halloween? Is there a list of?
We'll cover that also in the class. So the a haircut could be taken, but not by. But you can't have a Jewish person give the haircut because they're not allowed to do any work after midday. So if you want to go to a beauty salon that is a non-Jewish person is going to give you your haircut, that would be permissible. So a Jewish person could not give haircuts, they'll not take a haircut by a Jewish person. And it should make a point of trying to get the haircut before midday. No eating matzah on Erev Pesach. We also do not eat the ingredients of charoses or moror on Erev Pesach. And including the first day of Pesach and the second day of, and after the Seder of the first day. So we have as follows. We have on the Seder plate, there are different items. We want to make it exclusively for Pesach. So therefore, all the ingredients that comes for the moror, the bitter herbs, which could include the horseradish, romaine lettuce, and endives, those vegetables are eligible for moror, for the bitter herbs. The romaine lettuce has a bitter root, even though the top is sweet. We will cover that. We will cover when we speak about the Seder. So starting from midday the day before Pesach, we do not eat the ingredients of the moror. We will use it exclusively for the Seder night. So we do not have horseradish for our gefilte fish on the Seder night, nor the next day, nor the next night, until after the Seder. So those will, the same thing is also if you're going to be making a salad, we would not use romaine lettuce for your salad. We will leave it for the Seder plate. So that will include the day of a Wednesday, and also a Thursday, and Friday already is after the Seder. So Friday you could have a regular salad. You can have your horseradish with your gefilte fish, because it's only until after both Seders. However, the other items that are on the Seder plate there's another item that we do not eat ingredients of, and that is the charoses. Everyone knows what charoses is, a mixture of. So we do not eat apples. We will not have applesauce for dessert on the Seder night. Also, the ingredients that are a part of the charoses, we will not have any nuts as a dessert until after the second Seder. After the Seder, and during the meal of the second Seder, you could have your nuts, you could have the applesauce and everything else. That would be the second Seder night because it's already after when it comes to the meal, we already had all the items that were on the Seder plate. However, the other items that are on the Seder plate, there is no restriction. If you want to have eggs, that's not designated specifically for the Seder plate. It's a custom to use eggs. You can use another cooked food as well. So eggs you could eat whenever you wish. The same thing is also going to be for karpas, the vegetable that we dip into salt. So you could eat those whenever you wish. That's not restricted because you can use any vegetable. You don't have to use, some people use celery or parsley or potatoes or onions. Those you could have on as a side dish or whatever else you want to eat it. You want to eat the hot potatoes on Wednesday or Pesach, there is no restriction. So it's only the charoses, the morar, and the matzah. Okay. So I do, where do we have the, did I skip a page? Oh, I skipped a page. Okay. During the burning of the chametz, I will finish with this. During the burning of the chametz, after the burning of the chametz, on page 27, we make another declaration. And here it's different than the first declaration. The first declaration was any chametz that I did not find, that I do not know about, I do not want to own. Here we say, after you've done all of your searching and all of your burning, all leaven or anything leavened which is in my possession, which I have neither seen it or not, whether I observed it or not, whether I have removed it or not, shall be considered nothing and ownerless in the dust of the earth. You do not want to own any chametz. You make a declaration, any chametz that is mine, I don't want to own, it's all ownerless. Whatever you sold, you do want. That's included in the sale. What happens if there was something you want to put away that has chametz, like you have a shampoo that has a vitamin E, which usually comes from oatmeal. So that's chametz shampoo. You forgot to put it. You wanted to sell it. You forgot to put it away in the designated place. It's already after the time. You may put it away because in your mind it was something that you wanted to sell. You just didn't get around to putting it away in the designated place. But as far as you were concerned, it was included in the sale. So any items that were left out and you wanted them and you knew about them, you put them into the sold places. And whatever you find after that, you did not transgress because your house was kosher for Pesach 100%, and you said, I do not want to own any chametz whatsoever.
Thank you.
Rabbi, can you talk about the point like products, like shampoo?
Yeah.
So we have a book by Rabbi Blumenfeld. He has a whole list of what product